October 1990. I'm at Bowling Green, still studying, trying to get my knowledge on. But I did read more books in October than I did in September. If you remember the last video, I only read one book in September. But I've got, looks like 6 in October. I must have stopped worrying about studying so I could read some more. So I guess let's get into it. And we'll start with Shambhala, The Sacred Path of the Warrior by, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Chogyam, I don't know, Trungpa. I apologize. That was horrible. Anyway, this is a nonfiction book about Zen, essentially, and the Sacred Path of the Warrior. I looked this up on Amazon. It said this was like the first book to really bring Buddhist and Zen ideas to the Western world, and it's all about how the warrior doesn't use violence. The true warrior doesn't use violence. They use kindness. It's about making the world a better place, being a better person, making the world a better place. So that's basically that. Next up, the only one that I have, The Batman Murders by Craigshaw Gardner. I love this Dave Dorman cover. And this is some rich Gothamites are going missing. They're showing up dead in Batman costumes. It's some plot by the Joker to take out Batman. What I find interesting about this, on the back here, it says Batman created by Bob Kane, which means this came out before they started adding Bill Finger to the created by thing, which is a whole thing. There's a documentary about it. I don't recall the name of it, but it's out there. Just look up documentary about Batman creators. So this was part of, I think there were 3 books, 3 Batman novels that came out close together, sort of a series, not connected in any way, just, Batman movies were coming out, so they wanted to put out Batman novels. It's good. I like Craigshaw Gardner. I like Batman. It's just a good old-fashioned Batman novel. Then we have Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, compiled by Paul Reps. And the reason it says compiled by is it's a bunch of different stuff. This has all Zen stuff. So this has 100, I have to look at my notes, 101 Zen stories. Just different people, masters, teachers, students, whatever, telling their Zen stories, I believe. It's got a bunch of old koans, is how I pronounce it, Koans, which are, for lack of a better way to put it, sort of Zen riddles. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but they're things to make you think. And some other stuff, and according to the description, a 4,000-year-old teaching from India, which is, I guess, considered one of the earliest bases for Buddhism, Zen philosophy. You can see where my head was at this time. I was really into Eastern philosophies. Still am. Next up, Stardust by Robert B. Parker. This is a Spencer novel, so you know it's good. And in this one, there's a TV show filming in Boston. Susan Silverman, Spencer's life partner, is a consultant on the show. The star of the show, Jill Joyce, has a stalker, so she hires Spencer to protect her. All the descriptions I looked at said that she's, just a high-strung, spoiled bitch. Spencer almost quits the job a number of times because he just can't take her, but of course he sticks it out. And it's Spencer. I love these books. I absolutely love the Spencer books. It's a great, great series. Then we have By Reason of Insanity by Shane Stevens. This is about a serial killer. So this guy's name is Harry Morgan. He believes he is the child of this rapist that was executed. He's abused throughout his childhood. At 10 years old, he murders his mother. He goes to a place for the criminally insane. At 25, he escapes and just is crossing the country, murdering women left and right. Everybody's after him. It's a big, thick book. It's horrifying. And the thing I remember most is after I read it, my mother read it, and she said it gave her nightmares. It was the first time, I don't know if it's the only time, but definitely the first time a book ever gave her nightmares. It is, I don't know if it would fall under, it's not splatter. I don't think it would fall under extreme, but it is incredibly gruesome and violent and really gets into the mind of the killer. Excuse me. And then finally, the last book I read in October of 1990, To Have and Have Not by Ernest Hemingway. And this is about Harry Morgan. You can see me glancing at my notes, who is, I read the description, he's an honest man, but he ends up having to fly contraband from Cuba to Key West to help his family. They have financial problems, and this is what he has to do to help them. Don't really remember too much about it. I mean, it's Hemingway. I'm not a huge fan. I've read a few of his things. Maybe I was a little young at the time to appreciate it. I don't know. I was in my early 20s. And I did read this on my own. This was not a school assignment. There are going to be a few books in here that I did read for classes, and we'll talk about those when they come up. But that's it for October of 1990. Just 6 simple books. So, I don't have an anecdote for Bowling Green at this time. I mean, I love the college experience. I love learning. And I lived off campus, about a mile away. I had a car, but I didn't always drive. If the weather was bad, I would, but it wasn't a bad walk to and from. I worked at a factory. We'd go out on the weekends. There was a place, I believe it was called Uptown Downtown. 2 floors. The first floor was, it's been a long time. It was a bar and maybe a dance floor. Upstairs had a bar, a pool table in this little room on the side. And then I feel like either one upstairs or downstairs had a stage or a place for live music. But there was always music in both. Always dancing in both. I would drink. It was back in my drinking days. Never a heavy drinker. But they had Killian's Red on tap. You could get a mini pitcher for $5. So that was always if I was going to drink, that was my drink of choice. That's it. Just sort of general stuff. I do have something specific that I have to save for another video because I need to look something up, just to make sure my memory is correct. But anyway, that's it. Question. Let's see. Are you familiar at all with Eastern philosophies? Have you read anything dealing with Buddhism or Zen, or Eastern philosophies in general? I'm not going to ask about your religion or anything like that, because while Buddhism, I suppose, is a religion, Zen ideas are not. That's more a state of being, I believe. I'm no expert, as much as I've read. Excuse me. But what are your thoughts on that? Eastern philosophy, sort of the Zen thing. I think, we've covered the Tao Te Ching. on here before, and you can see, again, all sorts of Zen Eastern philosophy books. I dig it. I am not a religious person at all, which is why I just sort of like this idea, the whole idea of balance in everything and finding peace, which can be difficult. But anyway, so there you go. What are your thoughts on this? We can discuss it down below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, we can discuss it down below in the comments. Just if you're going to talk spoilers, post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got for you this time. So until next time, read more books.